What is up, everybody? My name is Nick, joined once again by my co-host Matt and Austin Props. He joined us today too. Thanks for joining us once again. We're gonna go into some NFL, and that's mainly it for today because the lines suck on NBA so far. There's nothing out, and I think, is baseball still happening?
Yes. Yeah, we're in the World Series right now, Nick.
Oh, is that big? Is that a big thing?
Big it was big.
Okay. Okay. No one probably saw the Phillies coming, right? No one. No one possibly put that.
Shut up, Nick. Shut up.
All right. Let's get right into it,
baby.
We have a podcast exclusive play. We'll say that a little bit later. But let's get into we got a lot of props I see on the table. I'll be directing this shit show that we call For Bettor or Worse. So who wants to go first? Matt, why don't we go and have you go first?
All right.
Someone on the Eagles.
It is someone on the Eagles. First off, everyone who's in here, like and retweet the tweets here. Make sure you're subscribed and make sure to comment as well. We appreciate all the support. Run it up. I want to see everyone in here this beautiful Sunday morning. That being said, we do have a beautiful prop, and I did it in honor of our guest today. He is an Eagles fan, so, figured I'd dabble in that game, show him some love, and that is going to be A.J. Brown over 68.5 receiving yards. Absolutely love this play. The Steelers are the second worst in yards to wide receivers. Eagles coming off that bye. Had a lot of time to prepare. He's 4-2 this season to this number. Let me just run through some past matchups versus Steelers this year. Last week, Waddle had 88 and Hill had 72, both going over in the same week. The week before that, Chris Godwin had 95. And then before that, Diggs had 102. Gabe Davis had 171. And someone else had 75. The Jets, Corey Davis had 74. Mark Cooper had 101. Aguilar had 110. And Myers had 95. And then Chase had 129 in week one. So that's all big wide receivers going way over that number. Again, they had the bye. A.J. Brown's going to keep cooking. Line seems a little low for me. I may ladder that myself personally to 100, but 68.5 as my play. I absolutely love it. And if I'm going to root for the Eagles, they better make me some money. So that's really my analysis there. But A.J. Brown over 68.5 receiving yards across most of the books. At least last night, I don't know if it moved.
Austin, any thoughts on that shitty play?
No, he is due for a big game. The thing that's been interesting to me is they've gotten up where they haven't had to play in the second half most of their games, so his numbers are only around like 5 receptions a game. But I think it should be a competitive game. Like I said earlier to you guys, Tomlin just knows how to keep the games close, so everyone's projecting a 10.5 point game. I think it's going to be covered, so I like A.J. Brown today. I try to stay away of Eagles props because it makes the game less fun for me to watch.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Because if they lose and
I lose money, I'm pissed, And
today's the day they lose, right? You said that earlier in the show.
No, they're going 7-0 today.
Okay.
We're comfortable with it.
All right, fair enough. What is your favorite play of the day? Because I got 3 here. So why don't you just surprise me? Pick one that you think out of those 3.
Okay, it's sneaky and it's not off hit rate, but Devin Singletary is probably my favorite play today against Green Bay. They've allowed 5.2 yards per carry, so everyone's dashed them. And he got 85 yards last week. They've shown that he's the guy. They're not going to do that three running back workload that they've been doing with all those guys. That just hasn't worked. They've obviously with Josh Allen, they go away from the run because he has such an elite arm. But I think they control clock more this game, and 53.5 yards for a starting running back. I mean, that's low. You know what I mean? So if the game stays close, I think it's a good position for him, especially with 5.5 yards per carry. You know what I mean? That could be broke in 2 carries.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite play.
I agree. I saw them play last week, obviously. versus Washington. And yeah, I mean, Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson were just tearing them up on the ground, and we're not even that good. So to have a way better offense and offensive line at your disposal, that should be an easy number if he gets the carries. That's what something I don't know. It's just maybe it's just a mental thing for me, but I feel like the Bills, there's no workhorse. It's just by committee, and they kind of spread out the ball. And I just, that's what scares me about some of these props that, they just don't get the carries. And I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong. So don't take my word for it. It's just like a mental thing for me. It's like before I even look at the stats, I'm like,
I think they're gonna use him now because they're trying to get Akers and whoever else is available. They still have made trades for another running back as well. In the meantime, they're going to make do with Devin Singletary. I don't see why you wouldn't. The Packers allow the second most rushing yards to running backs this season. I've just been seeing them get destroyed. And I think I played Aaron Jones against them earlier on. His line was in the 50s, super low. I was nervous about it too, just for I don't know what reason. It was almost like why is that line so low? But he cruised past it. I like the same spot as well, just because Packers give up a lot of rush yards. The game script really fits the bill if they're winning, but no pun intended. If the Bills are winning, they're just going to run the ball late in the game, get those, garbage time, extra yards there. But even so, I think he could hit this. If he breaks a few tackles and gets away, I like this spot a lot.
Well, and Zach Moss isn't good. Like they've kind of gotten rid of they used to split. They don't split anymore. Cook is okay, but yeah, I definitely think they're trying to establish the run, and we saw it last week against KC. Obviously, it was a close game, but they're not going to be able to win running the ball 6 times over and over again, especially late in the season. So I think they're going to try to even it out more, not have to rely on Josh the whole rest of the year.
And we got some questions in the chat. Let's go through that real quick. Any plays for this London game that's happening right now? I do not.
Hell no.
I probably wouldn't be up right now if it was.
Yeah, I would have to be up at 3:30 a.m. to find something.
Yeah, I would take an under in the game, honestly. I think in London, these players don't want to be there. Both teams, in my opinion, suck. I think it's going to be a garbage game. They're going to want to get out there as quick as possible. They're going to try to make it interesting for the fans, but I think overall an under in this game is an under and kind of close game is where I see this going. But just a lean though.
Yeah, I mean I just not touch. I'm done talking about the Broncos. I'm done putting money near the Broncos. I'm done with the Broncos. So
you know what I was doing this morning before the show? I was doing high knees in my office.
Shut up.
Yeah. There you go.
We know you were sleeping, bro.
Like Brett Rippion's gonna get it done today.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? He comes out, gets it done.
He's a stud.
More Russ hate.
Let's get this out of the way because everybody knows it's coming. Matt's just forcing kicker plays because he's trying to make them relevant in the NFL. I'm all against kickers. Pat McAfee, I'm sorry, whatever. You want to build your brand? No. Especially because of college. College ruined it for me this year. So many bad kickers.
I'm betting on kids who still have tutors.
So let's force out your kicker play for today so we can get it over with, people.
Probably my favorite play of the day. Daniel Carlson over 1.5 field goals. Let me introduce you to the best kicker in the league. I'm sorry, Justin Tucker. I'm sorry. Daniel Carlson may have taken your spot. I know I'm going to get a lot of, the 5 people who are in the kicking community may come after me after this. But Daniel Carlson, he's 16 for 16 with field goals on the year. He has not missed. He's hit a 50-yarder or longer. This guy's name is Blake.
Your name is Matt. What?
Come on. You can't trust a guy named Blake. My grandpa told me that at a young age. I like Garrett, though. Oh, no, Garrett?
Nope.
Put him back on. Garrett's a good name. He seems like a great kid, comes with a good family. Seems like I love that guy. Daniel Carlson, back to him, though, also came from a great family of the Carlsons, dating way back to the kickers of the past. You can read about him in history books somewhere, I think. But he's 16 for 16. He's at a 50-yarder. He's still commenting. Johnny, I'm glad you're still here, buddy. I'm glad you're still here. He is fantastic. Again, they're playing in a dome. He's gotten 2 for 2, 3 for 3, 3 for 3, 4 for 4, 3 for 3, and last week was 1 for 1 because they scored 38 points. Could not stop. I was going to do this, but I stopped myself. The only game he didn't get it was the last game because they scored so many touchdowns. He had 5 extra points. Saints defense is a little better. They're going to force a lot of field goals. The Saints allow the second most kicking points, and they also allow the first most 40 to 49 yarders, which is right in that breadbasket of kicking spots that you want. You don't want to have him have to make 255 yarders, even though he can. We should see a 40-yarder, maybe 45-yarder, maybe 2. He'll cash this bright and early, maybe even the first half.
Getting people's hopes up for just disappointment.
Brilliant.
Bullshit kickers.
So cool. We're going to
do you ever think about doing over points? They still do that? I haven't looked in a while, to be honest.
What? Yeah, you can. Kicking points.
Yeah. So, like,
yeah, you can do that.
What is it, like 6.5 or something like that?
56.5 ladder.
You think he's hitting a bomb today?
He's hitting 2 bombs. Makes it eat those words.
Let us get into the next play, a real play. Austin, let's bring us back to reality. Who do you think has a big game today? Maybe with a quarterback that used to play for Washington. Perfect transition.
So I'm staying in that same game, actually. Another one I got is Chris Olave, receiving yards. I got it at 62.5. I think the books might have it at 64 or 66. I think this should be up in the 70s. I mean, the dude's a stud. And we saw Andy Dalton threw for 600 yards if you combine the interceptions he threw as well. So, dude's slinging it. Like, really good spot. Olave's hitting 4 of his last 5. And he's just kind of put himself as the guy right now. So, yeah, I like him a lot tonight, especially with the Raiders. They've struggled in the past.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just really trying to understand why people pass on him. I mean, I felt like he should have been like top 5. That dude is
I think he's the best receiver in the class.
He's awesome. Yeah. No, nonetheless, he's doing well, even with the shit quarterback. Kind of reminds me of Terry McLaurin a little bit because he's got no one to throw to him for a while. So we'll see how that goes. I do like to play, especially versus that secondary and the Raiders. Matt, any opinion on this?
Yeah, any wide receiver versus the Raiders, I'll honestly take. Just because I feel like those games are always kind of shootouts.
Definitely.
Just with the way it's kind of set up. Derek Carr and them have a lot of weapons. I know Devontae Adams is playing on their side. This game, I don't think it's going to be as close as the spread says. I think the Raiders get a nice little early lead, which leads to Olave getting some more yards as well because they're going to have to throw. So with the game script that I like it even more. Not the game script that's really posted, but the one that I see kind of happening. I like it a lot.
The other thing is Kamara is on the trade block too, so they might not want to use him as much in the run game. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to hurt him. Yeah. So I mean, they could go away from the run early.
Well, let's stick with this game because Matt, you're not bringing a lot of confidence, but we do have a podcast exclusive for this game right now. Matt, I'm gonna bring you back in because I want you to hype it back up and explain why this is a podcast exclusive play after you just shit on it a little bit. Go ahead.
I didn't shit on it. I don't want to give it away.
What is the play?
The play is Raiders money line. Goddamn. Or Raiders minus 1.5. Either or. I really don't care what you pick. The odds, I swear to God, if they win by 1, the odds of them not covering the minus 1.5, but winning is very slim. I love the Raiders today. Again, my game script says the Raiders get up early. Daniel Carlson has like 55 field goals. They're just cruising. They have no punts, couple touchdowns, some field goals. Saints are struggling. Dalton sucks. Personally, I just think the Saints are – it'd be super for them to even try to win games. They have guys in the trading block. They're not trying to win. Now, why would you win?
They don't own their first-round pick, though. The Philadelphia Eagles do.
That's a fair point.
So that's the thing
need
too.
to start winning.
The Raiders are in desperation mode. I mean, they're 2-4. Not saying that that they're out of the playoffs. If they win this game, they're now 3-4, and there's a lot of 3-4 teams still out there. They can easily turn it around. If they lose this game though and kind of go 2-5, now you're in trouble. Much harder to kind of gain that ground and make the playoffs. So it's a do or die game. I like Derek Carr a lot. I like the Raiders offense more. I like the Saints defense a little more, but that's about it. But I think the Raiders are a little more desperate. And I think I just trust them more offensively, and they had a horrible start, but they've been looking pretty good the past couple of weeks. So I like things that the Raiders are doing.
Yeah, that is our podcast exclusive play. Austin, do you have anything to add as far as how you see that game going, or just overall?
No, I think that was pretty well said. I think Raiders honestly take care of business today, and Saints see themselves playing catch up, which is why I like Olave. And so I think all three plays we had in that game are pretty correlated with what we see for the game script.
Yeah, I thought that too the first couple games of the season. So hopefully I'm right this time now because they burned me early. But nonetheless, this is the perfect opportunity for them to get their third win versus a pathetic Saints team. And Andy Dalton.
One more play. I got
one more play each. Who wants up next? Who's got the bigger superstar? Stop. You both know the plays. Who's the bigger superstar? You can go next.
Austin's play for sure.
Oh, okay. All right.
For
cool.
sure. Well,
it's a square play, but square plays hit. Justin Jefferson, 90.5 receiving yards. The dude's a stud. Arizona doesn't really scare me. It was double XP weekend for Kyler Murray, so he's been taking the day off. I just think it's a great position. He's had over 100 yards in all three of his last games, and the targets are there. That's what I love to see as well. So I think we see J-Jet today get after it.
I hope he doesn't, because I traded him away, and now I have Jonathan Taylor and a couple people, Christian Kirk. It worked out. It was worked out. I needed wide receiver depth nonetheless, and running back depth, really. Nonetheless, I do like the play. Matt, anything to say about this Jefferson kid? He's kind of good, I guess.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah. He's disgusting. The Cardinals secondary is atrocious. Any guy that catches the football against the Cardinals is a good target. Just off the bat, especially if Kyler is feeling himself even after the Call of Duty came out and keeps it close. Like, I'd like to see even better. Kyler Murray does play a lot better on the road. He just hates Arizona for some reason. But him playing better may be a good thing. Just because I don't think they win the game. I like the Vikings to win this game. And I like the over a lot. And for the Vikings to win and the over to hit, Jefferson's probably going to have to play a big part in that. So
definitely, especially if it's a shootout. Like, if it's a shootout, I don't think there's any chance he doesn't cover.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah, it feels like one of those games where he's going to have like 10 catches and 150 yards, which he's already done like 3 times this year.
That's literally what I feel like this could be the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of what it feels like. But let's announce Matt's last pick and who we thought was less than Justin Jefferson, which is pretty high up there. So, Matt, why don't you go ahead with the last pick for the day?
Yeah. He said, tough crowd, Austin, the double XP joke. Hey, we got the joke. We're just all dialed in, buddy. Where's he at? Right there.
Tough one, I know.
Where is he? Right there.
These old heads, man.
Yeah, I'm aware. The last play for me, I hate betting on the Giants. I do. I'm a Giants fan. I still think they're fake good until proven otherwise. But maybe that's working for them right now. And then once I believe, they'll start losing. So we're just not going to believe right now. But one thing I believe is that the Seahawks give up a ton of yards. And one thing they do is they give up a lot of receiving yards, especially to running backs. So I'm going to target Saquon Barkley here, but not in the run game, more of the dump off short pass screen game. Seahawks allow the 5th most receiving yards. And, the line is 28.5. I think he has 30, maybe 40 yards today. Just going through his game log, if I could pull it up real quick. He's not hit this for like a hit rate per se. He's I think he's 3 and 4 to this number, but he's had some worse targets, some worse games. But he's had 3, 4, sometimes even 6 catches, and he's averaging 7.2 yards per catch. And the line for 3.5 receptions is super juiced, like -170. So I think he's going to have 4 catches, and he averages 7 yards a catch. You're at 28 already. I think he breaks a tackle or 2. I think they use him a little more. And going through guys who've played the Seahawks, you've had Eckler had 12 catches for 96 yards. I know he's more of a pass catching back than Saquon is, but either way, got it done. Eno Benjamin got 3 catches for 28 yards. Kamara had 6 for 91, and Javonte Williams earlier in the year had 11 for 65. So you have a lot of guys who the game script says, they do a lot of dump offs. Seahawks defense is pretty bad. And if the Giants are trailing, which at half they seem to always be trailing and then come back in the second half, if that's the case, they're going to be throwing, and close game means they're not going to be running the ball in garbage time. I like his receiving yards over 28.5.
Also, anything you want to add on that? I
like it as well. The Giants have found a way to win games without being able to throw the ball to receivers, which is insane. So, Saquon is like their guy. His reception target line is at like 4 or 4.5 in most places too. So they expect him to be involved in the passing work, which is good. So, with 28.5 yards, that's one play, like with his ability. You know what I mean? Like, guys like that are super talented, when their line is low, like you really only need them to do one big play and you're there. So it's like the upside is so good. So I like it a lot.
The line is currently 26.5 at -110 on FanDuel. 26.5 at -110. That's the line you're going to want to get.
Love it.
Hell yeah.
Let's stick with that game real quick. What you guys think about
Wan'Dale Robinson?
Wan'Dale.
I don't know his involvement. I don't really know what his targets have been as of late.
It looks like he's starting to get play. I don't know if that's because like Sterling Shepard or other. I don't know. But he got 4 targets for 37 yards in the Baltimore game, and then 8 targets and 6 receptions for 50 yards in the Jacksonville game. So it seems to be going up a little bit. His line is a little high, but this seems, every time I look at a Seahawks game, it seems like a shootout. His line's currently 43.5 at -110 on FanDuel at least. Again, I don't watch a lot of Giants games. I try not to. So,
yeah, like I said on it, they don't really use the receivers much. You know what I mean? He appears to be the guy. His reception line's at 7.5 on Prize Picks. So that's kind of what I look at for receiving to figure out lines. And 7.5, that's a pretty good chunk if they think he's going to be that involved. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I wouldn't touch him personally yet until I see a few more games of consistency from him. But that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, it makes me kind of want to do the under on that 7.5. He only got 8 targets last game as a whole. But again, this is the game that if anybody's going to have giant stats, it usually seems like versus Seahawks, just because they get in these shootouts, which they keep up as well, which also helps the other offense stay motivated and get back on the field quickly.
Is there a Chris Myarick? I don't even know what they say his name. He's the Giants tight end. He's garbage.
Yeah, he's starting today.
He's gonna feast. I'm telling you right now, the Seahawks give up the most fantasy points and receiving yards to tight ends. I think his line is probably – I can't even find a line, but it's probably like in the teens. And I think he would crush that. I might even bet him to score, honestly, if it's up there, just because it just makes perfect sense, and the lines aren't up, which makes me love it even more. I wish they just put it up. He had 2 catches for 21 yards last week, but other than that, he's done absolutely nothing. But this matchup is just perfect. And if they keep allowing the same gaps in the defense and holes in those zones and allow for tight ends to squeeze through, I really like that play. But there's no line, so I digress.
Fair enough. Let's go through our plays once more. We'll answer questions. So guys, start loading some questions in the chat that you guys have for the day. And then we'll get out of here and enjoy the morning game. What are you doing?
Boom. I'm putting them in
you
order.
actually did it. Okay, nice. So Devin Singletary over 53.5 yards. That is an Austin props play. Next up, A.J. Brown over 68.5 yards. That's your boy, Matty Chucks. Chris Olave over 62.5 yards. That's Austin props. In case you guys can't read, I know a lot of you guys can't. Matt can't either, so it's fine. Daniel Carlson over 1.5 field goals. Guys, feel free to ignore that.
Ladder it to 8.5.
He's missing, man. He's hooking at 1.
No, he's gonna get 2 in the first half. I'm gonna text both you guys.
I played Younghoe Koo last week.
That's why it lost. I was wondering how it lost.
Hey,
yeah, literally.
Don't you dare put Swift at 0 rushing yard. No. Justin Jefferson over 90.5 yards. That again is Austin props with a beautiful play. Let's go back to a shit one. Matt, there we go. Another shit play from Matt. Saquon Barkley over 26.5 yards. And then their podcast exclusive play. It's my play. It's one I came up with. Minus 1.5. As always, I'm a genius. You're welcome. And then Nick's play for the day, Washington +3 because I'm delusional, like Heineke. Let's do it. That's all. I like Heineke.
Am I it?
Let's answer any questions that we have for today. Let's see. We got DeAndre Swift over rushing yards. I think, and I hope he does because he's on my fantasy team. Finally, he's healthy again. We'll see nonetheless. Any thoughts on this, guys?
Absolutely not. I love him, but
is his line in the 50s, like 52, 53?
That is a great question. Where is his line?
I know Jamal Williams is at 35.5, and so I would guess it's about 15, 20 higher, but I just see it being a shared committee today, especially first game back, and Jamal Williams has looked pretty good.
His line is 48.5 currently 48. On FanDuel. And Jamal Williams is 35.5.
Okay, so like 13, 14.
Yep. Anytime touchdowns. I was personally looking at a couple things in the Washington game. First of all, Jonathan Taylor's minus 110 right now. I know that's not that high, but for Jonathan Taylor, if he's finally healthy versus our defense, it can happen. As well as Brian Robinson, plus 200, and Terry McLaurin was plus 200. Both guys that could get in the end zone at some point. That's the only game I really looked at, guys, so I'm not going to be a help. Guys, any other opinions on anytime touchdowns you guys saw? Maybe some value plays or just plays overall you liked?
Yeah, I like Tony Pollard, anytime touchdown. If Zeke is out, he's doubtful versus the Bears. Cowboys are home. Pollard can be a pass-catching back and run up the gut if he wants. So I like him a lot versus the Bears. Not sure if I like his props, but to score and get in, I like that a lot.
Fantastic. I don't have any.
Don't have any. Okay, fantastic. Pollard over 19.5 receiving yards. It's a decent.
I like it. I do. I will say. I'd rather do his rush and receptions if you're going to do something, though, just because he's going to get the bulk of everything. If I think Zeke's doubtful, he should be out. So I would more focus on that and not have to worry about either or.
Well, his rushing yards is 79.5.
Well, it's because the Bears give up literally a ton.
Well, there's going to be – he'll have one huge play. You just got to hope it's a receiving play if it's that. Because I see him literally every week with a 40-yard chunk play.
Yeah. Maybe his longest rush is probably what you want to do.
Yeah, maybe, honestly.
Yeah. Let's see. Actually, absolutely not.
What's his attempts at? Going back to Pollard, because if they're up too late, I like Pollard's attempts. Okay. You can talk.
Doesn't even have it. No attempts. His rushing and receiving is 103.5. His longest rush is 16.5. So maybe that's something you could look at there. And then most rushing yards is minus 155. Okay. No. Absolutely not. I'll be scared when they're up by 21. That's when I'd start becoming scared in the game. Dalvin Cook to get a touchdown. Mike, I mean, that's always something that's on the table. Yeah. Anything else? I don't care. I'm not betting on Taysom Hill. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that shit's gonna miss eventually. I see everyone cashing on it. It has to miss. You can't put this quarterback in to run and get a touchdown every single week. Eventually, someone's stopping it.
It's only because he's scoring. If he doesn't score, it's
literally
not
yeah. If he doesn't get in, he's missing.
Officially, Austin Props is a hater. Nonetheless, we're moving
hater.
on. How do you guys feel about Josh Allen? Anytime touchdown. He has had one this season, silly, because I bet him first touchdown at the first game of the year, and he fucking ran it in later on that same game. And I didn't bet anytime touchdown because I'm an idiot. So I know he has a rushing touchdown. He has to. I remember that moment. It's burned in my freaking brain.
He has 2 touchdowns, actually.
Okay. Nonetheless, it's okay. Guys, anything else for today? A nice quick, well, semi-quick, 30 minutes. Pop out, plenty of plays. Anything else you can think of that you want to add? Obviously, bet responsibly. Let's get after it. If you guys are good, I'm good.
I'm fine.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
guys, enjoy your day. We'll be back on Thursday. Austin, will you be joining us next Thursday?
I'll try to. We'll be texting.
Okay. All right.
Trying to.
Sounds good. No worries. Guys, join us again on Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other than that, bet responsibly and enjoy your day. Deuces.